Hello students, in today's class we are going to continue with real numbers. We have started with real numbers already in the previous video. 2.1 we have finished. We are going to continue with 2.2 in this. So let us just little revise what we have done in the previous video. Rational numbers. If the decimal representation of numbers is terminating or non-terminating recurring, then they are called rational numbers. If the decimal representation of a number is non-terminating and non-recurring, then it is said to be irrational number. Now we have also learned rational number and irrational number. These are two disjoint sets. Means there is nothing common in these two sets. Rational, if a number is rational, it cannot be irrational, right? So decimal representation, here it is terminating or recurring. Here it is non-terminating and non-recurring. Okay, so it is totally opposite. Then real numbers. So set of rational and irrationals together is called a set of real numbers. So both these numbers together, it is called a set of real numbers. Now number pi, I told you in the previous class also, it is an irrational number. The Greek letter pi is an irrational number, and its value we take it as 22/7 or 3.14. This is an approximate value of pi that we take. Okay. Now next we come to square of a negative number. Now so far we have learned for real numbers, square of any real number is always positive. Square of any real number is always positive. For example, I have this 2, number 2, its square is going to be 4. 2 is a real number. Then I take next number, -2. If I take square of -2, square of -2 is also 4. So -2 is a real number and its square is always positive. But I have a number root -2. Before root -2, if I take number √2 and if I take its square, if I take a square of √2, root -2, √2. Now root and square both will cancel each other, right? Root and square both are opposite of each other, square root and square. So they will cancel each other and the answer will be 2. Okay, square root of 2 square or √2 square, the answer is 2. So here also we get a positive number, right? Whereas now if I take square of, but now I hope these three are clear to you. 2 square is 4, -2 square is also 4, and √2 square is 2. So all the answers are coming positive here. All these three squares are positive. But if I take a square of root -2, this answer will not be positive. Now root and square will cancel each other and I will get answer -2. So answer is coming negative here. Okay. So square root of a negative number, square root of a negative number, square root of any negative number, maybe it may be an -3, it may be square root of -5, it may be square root of -7, any number. These numbers are not real numbers. These numbers are not real. Not real. Why? Because their squares are not coming positive. So these numbers, this square root of -2, they are not real numbers. They belong to the set of imaginary numbers. Imaginary numbers you don't have to learn just now. Up to 10 standards also you will not be learning about imaginary numbers. When you go to the 11th, probably you will learn about imaginary numbers. So right now the biggest set of numbers that you are going to learn about is set of real numbers. But just the definition of square root of negative numbers so that you are aware of it. We know that square of any real number is always positive. Okay. But if we take square of root minus 2, the answer is coming negative here. Okay, therefore root of minus 2 is not a real number. It's not a real number. So hence square root of negative number is not a real number. We are not going to solve any problems on that concept, but just to know, okay, it was there. Now we will start with practice set 2.2. The first sum, show that 4 root 2 is an irrational number. Now in geometry you will be learning and you will be proving a lot of theorems, so you know the method of proof. So like this kind of small proofs you will be having in algebra also. Now in this is kind of a proof, right? But we are not going to write given to prove that and all that stuff. We are going to solve this as a solution only. This we solve by contradiction method. Okay, this we solve by contradiction method. So what is given in the statement, we assume its opposite. They've given that 4 root 2. We have to show that. It is not given. We have to show that 4 root 2 is an irrational number. So your last statement here. Hence, we prove that 4 root 2 is an irrational number. Should be that. Okay. So we assume its opposite, that let 4 root 2 is not an irrational number. Is not an irrational number. Okay, so we start assuming something that is opposite of what we are asked to prove, and then we will arrive at a contradiction, and then we will say that since this is a contradiction, our assumption is wrong. Okay, now we are saying 4 root 2 is an irrational number. It is not an irrational number means it has to be a rational number, right? Therefore 4 root 2 is a rational number. It is not an irrational number means it has to be rational, right? Now in the previous video we have learned every rational number, its definition itself says, can be represented in P by Q form. So we will assume this rational number 4 by 2 to be equals to, we can convert every rational number in P by Q form, right, in the fractional form. We have seen in the previous class how to convert it into P by Q form. So we assume this 4 root 2 to be P by Q. Okay. Now this number 4, it is multiplied with root 2. I'll take it that side, it will become division. Therefore root 2 is equal to P by 4Q. Okay. So far I have just done that. I have assumed this 4 root 2 is a rational number. Since it is a rational number, I can represent it in P by Q form, and I have only taken this 4 that side. Now I know in this statement this P by Q is rational. I have assumed this also to be rational. Okay. Now any rational number, when you multiply it by rational number, the answer is a rational number. Okay. So this P by Q is a rational, therefore P by 4Q is also a rational number. Okay. P by Q is rational, therefore P by 4Q is also a rational number. Now right hand side is a rational number, so left hand side also has to be a rational number. So if this is rational number, root 2 also has to be a rational number. But we know that root 2 is not a rational number. Root 2 is not a rational number. If you actually by division method find out the answer of root 2, what is equal to root 2 equals to what? If you try to find out, the answer is coming 1 point root 2 is equal to, we get 1.4141, and it goes on. In this decimal representation is non-terminating and non-recurring, so we know definitely root 2 is an irrational number. So an irrational number cannot be equal to rational number, right? So at this stage we have arrived at a contradiction, and hence, why have we arrived at a contradiction? Because we have assumed something wrong, right? So our assumption 4 root 2 is a rational number is wrong, and hence 4 root 2 is an irrational number. I hope you have understood it, and if you have not understood what I explained just now, one more time, yeah, just going to revise it. That time see if you follow, otherwise you can just go back and see it as many times as you want. Let 4 root 2 be a rational number, okay? Therefore we assume it to be equal to some p by q. Then we take that 4 that side. P by q is a rational number, then p by 4q is also a rational number. Then root 2 is also a rational number from 1. Why from 1? Because right hand side of 1 is a rational number, so left hand side also has to be a rational, but which is a contradiction because root 2 is an irrational number, and hence our assumption is wrong, and hence 4 root 2 is an irrational number, and hence proved. Next we have to prove that 3 plus root 5 is an irrational number. Now if you have understood at first sum, this you are going to understand definitely exactly the same step. There multiplication was there, here addition is there. So basically we are trying to prove if we add any number with the irrational number, or if we multiply any number with the irrational number, what we get is also an irrational number. That this statement generally prove. So your first statement would be assume that 3 plus root 5 is rational. Okay, we assume that it is rational. Now we will go over this a little faster. Okay, assume the first step that it is rational. Okay, now since it is rational, it can be represented in p by q form. So let's assume 3 plus root 5 equals to p upon q. Now what we'll do, this 3 will go that side and it will become minus. So root 5 equals to p by q minus 3. Root 5 is equal to p by q minus 3. Now we got a contradiction, no? P by q minus 3 is a rational number. Okay, so your left hand side is a rational number. Right hand side is a rational number. But in the left hand side we have root 5. And if you see root 5, we know it is definitely an irrational number. So how can an irrational number be equal to a rational number? Not possible. So which is a contradiction. Now p by q is a rational number, and then p by q minus 3 is also a rational number. But root 5, but then if you assume this to be a rational number from 1, then root 5 also becomes a rational number. But it is a contradiction as root 5 is an irrational number. And hence our assumption is wrong, and hence 3 plus root 5 is an irrational number. Now similarly, if they give you anything like here they may give you 7 plus root 5 or 7 plus root 3 or any number they may change. So the method remains the same to prove it. Okay. Now we come to a geometry part. Represent the numbers root 5 and root 10 on a number line. Now last year also you have learnt about what is a number line, right? And every rational number we can easily represent on number line. I think in the geometry you will also have to represent various rational numbers on the number line. Okay, so what is the number line? In the center you have 0, and this side you have all the positive numbers, and this side you will have all the negative numbers. Now a rational number is a fixed number. Okay, it terminates or it is recurring. So it is easy for you to plot it on a number line. But these numbers, irrational numbers, their decimal representation is non-terminating, non-recurring. So in order to plot them on a number line, we have to take help of geometry. So here we are going to take our help of geometry as well as Pythagoras theorem in order to plot them on the number line. I hope you remember what is a Pythagoras theorem. You have been learning it since 7th standard. Okay. And Pythagoras theorem, if you remember, can be defined only in the right angle triangle. Pythagoras theorem we can only define in a right angle triangle. Let's say this is a right angle triangle. Let me draw a right angle triangle ABC first. Now every right angle triangle, when does a right angle triangle become right angle? It has to have one angle as 90 degrees. It has to have one angle as 90 degrees. Then the triangle becomes a right angle triangle. Now this is the 90 degree angle. Now side opposite to 90 degree angle is called as hypotenuse. It is called as hypotenuse. Side opposite to 90 degree angle is called as hypotenuse. And according to Pythagoras theorem, hypotenuse square, according to Pythagoras theorem, what do we have? Hypotenuse square is equal to remaining two sides, if we assume to be this as side 1, or you can also say base and height. You can say side 1, side 2, or base and height, and this side is side 2, let's say. So according to Pythagoras theorem, what do we have? Hypotenuse square is side 1 square plus side 2 square. This is what we have by Pythagoras theorem. Okay. Now on this number line, first we have to plot root 5. Now you must understand one thing, this root 5. Root 4 is what? You all know root 4, the answer is 2. Okay, and after root 4, for 3 we have root 9, right? So if I have here 1, if I have here 2, if I have here 3, so this is my 2 and this is my 3. So this root 5 has to lie somewhere between root 4 and root 9, right? So it has to lie somewhere between 2 and 3. Root 5 has to be somewhere between 2 and 3. I hope you follow that. Okay. Now root 5. In order to plot this root 5, we are going to take help of a Pythagoras theorem. What are we going to do? At the place, whatever, now root 5 or root 10, whatever, what number we want to plot on the number line, that should be my hypotenuse. Okay, if root 5 is my hypotenuse, then what should be my sides? For me to get root 5 as my hypotenuse, what should be my sides? That you have to think and you have to take. Okay, now just let me check. If I take side 1 as 1 unit, if I take it as 1 square, and side 2 as 2, okay, 2 unit. If I take it as 2 square, then what do I get as hypotenuse? Let us check. 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4. So in that case I got hypotenuse square is equal to 5. That means, see what I got? I got hypotenuse square is equal to 5. Hypotenuse square is equal to 5. Means taking square root on both sides, I get hypotenuse is equal to root 5, right? If I get hypotenuse square is 5, means hypotenuse is equal to root 5. So what we understand here is, in any right angle triangle, if we have one side as 2 units and other side as 1 unit, then its hypotenuse is going to be root 5. Do you understand? See here, if I have side 1 as 1 and side 2 as 2, then hypotenuse is root 5. So now, in order to plot root 5 on the number line, what we are going to do is, we are going to construct a triangle on a number line. You are going to construct a triangle on a number line with one side as 2 units and other side as 1 unit. So automatically the hypotenuse will be root 5. Then we will take root 5 distance in the compass and mark an arc on the number line, and that will be your root 5. So let us just see. This is a number line. This is, let's say, your triangle ABC. So you want to plot root 5. So we will just keep that root 5 on the hypotenuse part there. Then by Pythagoras theorem, we have hypotenuse square is side 1 square plus side 2 square. So then in the exam they may give you anything, root 7, root 9, anything. So these side 1 and side 2, what to be taken, that you have to decide. Using Pythagoras theorem, you have to think what should be those two sides, what should we take those two sides as, okay. So I get hypotenuse as root 5. So I decide to take the two sides to be 2 and 1, okay. So then here, now how do we plot it exactly? Now we know what we have to do. So this is my 0, this is my 1, and this is my 2, and here I will have 3. Now that root 5 distance is going to be somewhere between 2 and 3, okay. So now this distance is 2 units. This distance is 2 units, right, already. So I know I have to construct a triangle with one side as 2 units and other side as 1 unit. Now at this point 2, I have to keep a protractor. I have to keep a protractor. This is my protractor, and here I have 90. On the protractor here I have 90. So where the 90 is, just draw a 90-degree angle here at 2. Okay, like this, and draw an arrow like that. Okay, keep a protractor, check this line properly, and keep that 0 on 2 and draw a 90 degrees angle here. Draw a 90 degrees angle here at 2. At 2 you have to draw a 90 degrees angle here like this. Okay, so what we did at 2, just now we are going to construct a right angle triangle here like this. This is 2 units, and at 2 I have taken 90 degrees, and then take a 1 unit distance in your compass. Take 1 unit distance in your compass and keep the iron end of the compass here at 2 and make an arc here like this. Make an arc here like this from 2. So this distance is 1 unit. This distance is 1 unit. And now join 0 and this. Now join 0 and this. Now you see you have constructed a triangle. Let me name it ABC. I have constructed a triangle ABC in which one side, this one side is 2 units, other side is 1 unit. So hypotenuse is going to be root 5. So hypotenuse is going to be root 5. How? We have seen just now by Pythagoras theorem. Here one side is 2 units, other side is 1 unit. So hypotenuse is going to be root 5. So this distance is equal to root 5 distance. So now I will take compass iron point I'll keep here at 0. Compass iron point I'll keep at 0, and pencil point at A. So that is a root 5 distance in my compass. So keep a pencil point at A, and then from A just make an arc here like this. Okay. Now wherever this arc intersects the number line, this point is your root 5. Okay, I hope you have understood, students. Okay, just try doing this using your protractor and your compass. Okay, you just have to construct a right angle triangle. This is 2 units distance already. 1 unit distance you take here, so this is 1 unit, this is 2 units. Construct a right angle triangle. This hypotenuse is your root 5, and that's it. So we right angle triangle, then take 1 unit distance. Okay, then join A and C, that's root 5, hypotenuse is root 5, then make an arc. Where that arc intersects the number line, that's your root 5. Okay, this is how we have plotted root 5 on the number line. Now to represent root 10 on the number line. Now for root 10, decide what numbers you should take. Okay, I want root 10 to be the hypotenuse. So by Pythagoras theorem, we should take 3 and 1. So 9 and 1. Okay, so if you take 3 and 1, then you will get, so same way here the method is exactly the same. This is your number line. You want to plot root 10 on the number line, so it is going to be after 3. This is your 0, this is 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so for root 10 you have to take side 1 as 3 and side 2 as 1. Here see, side this as 3 and this as 1 you have to take. So this is my 3 units distance, 1 2 3, and at 3 I'll keep my protractor. Now at 3 I'll keep my protractor. Draw this line here, 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees. Okay, then at this line take 1 unit distance and mark here like this, 1 unit. Okay, so this is 3 units and this is 1 unit. Name it A or something here. Name it B or something here. And C here. Now join A and B. This is 1 unit, this is 3 units, so this has to be root 10. Now keep your compass point here at B. Make an arc from A. Okay, so this point where it intersects is going to be your root 10 distance. Okay, hope so you are understanding what I am doing, students. Okay, you will not just understand by listening to me, you will have to practically do it and see. Take a protractor, take a compass, pencil, eraser, whatever you need, scale, and do it and see. Okay, then only you will actually understand. Write any 3 rational numbers between the 2 numbers given below. Now this is easy. Now between any two rational numbers, there are infinitely many more rational numbers, infinitely many, and you are just asked to write any 2 numbers between those 2. Let's say this is 0 and I have 0.3 here this side and minus 0.5 here. So there are many numbers. Now 0 is also one such. Between 0.3 and 0.5, write any 3 rational numbers between these 2. So here I will have 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Then this side I may have minus 0.1, minus 0.2, 0.3, minus 0.4, and then 0.5. So you can write any of these, 0, 0.1, 0.2 or minus 0.1. Okay, you are asked to write any 3 rational numbers. So you choose which 3 rational numbers you want to write and just write, that's it. This is nothing much. Okay, so the 3 rational numbers between these are minus 0.2, 0 and 0.1. I have chosen these. You choose any, if any more you want to choose, you can choose. Now between these 2, Now over here you just have to do little this modification in order to understand this better. On after decimal point on a number, you can give as many zeros as you want, the number will not change. So minus 2.3 you can write as minus 2.300, and minus 2.33 you can write as minus 2.330. Right, you can do this. You give how many zeros you give doesn't matter much, the number value of the number doesn't change. Okay, so this is a number line, this is your 0, and both are negative, so both are this side. This is 300 and then we have 330, so 300 is going to be here, minus 2.300, and then after here somewhere you have minus 2.330. so this is 300 and this is 330, so between 300 and 330 how many numbers are there? You can write any. So you can write 301 minus 2.301 minus 302, 303, 4, 5, 6 up to 29 you can go. Okay, and any three such numbers you can write. Okay, let's see what numbers I have chosen. So the three rational numbers between minus 2.3 and minus 2.33 are minus 2.301, see 300, after 300, 301, 2, 3, 5, up to 29 I told you, any numbers you can choose. Then 5.2 and 5.3, here also 5.20 you make and 30 you make, so that is 20 and 30, between 20 and 30, 21, 22, 23, up to 29 you go. Okay, so the three rational numbers between 5.2 and 5.3 are 5.21, 23, 28, okay, 29 also you could write. Here also see minus 4.50 and minus 4.60, so between 50 and 60. Okay, so 51, 55, 58, right? So I hope students this lesson was clear to you. If any part you have not understood, you have a difficulty, you can go over, you can check that again, watch it 2-3 times, and then hope so you will understand. Okay, yeah, thank you.